Hello, Eddy. How are you?
Hi. Hi, Max. I'm all right. Thank you. And you?
I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. So
Okay.
yeah, the idea is just to exchange a little bit about your background, your experience so far with the bootcamp, why you have decided to join the bootcamp to learn Rust, and so on.
So I
Um,
am
yeah.
primarily, I'm primarily a like full stack, like front end heavy full stack developer with
Mm,
I'll say somewhere around 5 years of experience, and I've primarily been coding with languages like TypeScript and a little bit of Golang. And so,
mm,
well, my appeal, like it started with you know I don't want to say hype, but we hear a lot
mm,
of good stuffs about Rust, like how good it is, like how developers can be, like how it empowers developers to do amazing things, and we see it even via the tooling. Like if you look at
mm,
how like toolings like for the web, like web applications and everything, they have gotten better and better, and so
mm,
that's what piqued my interest, and the main reason that drew me to like this boot camp is that I saw like the little demos you did on YouTube, and I
mm,
was kind of like I was captivated, and well, I mean that's something it's very similar. The main project that drew me was the Rust UI.
yeah.
So yeah, it's very similar to what we really use on the web, being
Mm,
Shatian. So that's kind of Shatian for the for us. And I was like, yeah, this looks pretty cool. And then you mentioned that okay, you can mentor people, all right, to learn.
mm,
You can help them learn much more. Let's say in a much more structured manner, which is great.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. And yeah, because there is also a lot of free resources. You were mentioning YouTube or things like that. Um,
Yes.
did you try maybe some other resources, or did you find like some limitations about this? Or
So I did try, I started like sometime in December by myself, like
okay.
just reading
Mm,
the documentation, then
mm,
watching a few tutorials here and there. And
mm,
some of them were quite structured, a little bit structured, but they didn't it was like the best parts of it were hidden behind a paywall. And
mm,
unfortunately, the difference is that the difference between those courses and this one is that there's a community here. You don't
mm,
just do the course and you're done, right? So there's a
mm.
community here, and that's kind of why I like it. So, I mean, I'm primarily a like YouTube guy. I just do YouTube
Yeah.
on documentation. But
Mm,
you see, the thing is, Rust is quite vast. There are a lot of
yeah.
concepts, especially for somebody who has not been like, I'm not really low level. I'm not,
Mm,
I'm coming from TypeScript, so a lot of things are
mm,
quite easy there. Yeah. So there are so many broad things. Like even now, sometimes I implement a solution. Like I was looking at, how you implement something. There's like a string, like it's like string, the str. I don't really
yes,
know
she
how it's
has.
called.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
the own. I know that there's own string and borrow string. I
mm,
just know that. So
mm,
there's an own string and a borrow string. And one
mm,
thing that sometimes you see you want to pass a string from own to
mm,
borrow or from borrow
mm,
to own. You could do like a dot as str or dot to
yeah.
string. But at the same
Mm,
time, you can also do dot into, which
mm.
automatically handles like vice versa.
Yeah,
So
also, yeah.
yeah, some of those things could be a little bit confusing. And also there's you see Rust is always marketed for this language that provides like better tooling that is
Mm,
performant, and when you see various approaches, like there's so many, let me not say so many, but for a start, it feels like there's so many ways of doing certain things. And now there's that fear. There's that fear that
mm,
maybe I am over engineering something, or maybe I am not using the most optimized APIs. And so being part of this community is quite like it elevates that stress, I would say.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were also mentioning, like string slice, own the string, and so on. Is there like is there something that's something that clicked maybe recently about a specific concept in Rust that you didn't encounter so far and that suddenly clicked, or maybe not? I don't know.
Well, I mean, so far I am still in like with two, but given that I started like a Rust course, a very short-lived course, and so this is more like so far it has served as a reminder, like let's say as a let's say exercise. I'm testing the knowledge that I acquired earlier, and uh, and it's quite helpful. The exercises are quite helpful, and I'm really enjoying certain things. So if you think of like one thing that I really enjoy recently, I mean, coming from TypeScript, I really like Rust because I know a little bit of Golang, but I don't like it because the type system is not as robust as TypeScript. I mean, when you come from TypeScript, you go to Golang, it's like you have to, you have to really love the language. Yeah, but
Yeah,
if you like
definitely.
types, yeah, if you like types, then Rust is definitely like it's somewhat close. Yeah, and so there are generics which I really love. I mean, Golang also has generics, but I don't like the way it is. I like the way I wouldn't say OOP, but I would say the way Rust approach of what looks like OOP. I like it. I like I like having, I mean, also coming from TypeScript, there's this thing that I always say, like having your types being alive. They should mean something. In TypeScript, your types are just there to guide you, all right, so that you shouldn't make a mistake. Whereas in Rust, it has to be valid. So,
Yeah,
like the
definitely.
types,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I also like that. Then there are other APIs, like really amazing APIs. So if you think of things like pattern matching is really great. Yeah, there's pattern matching, and then there's another operator I really love. Again, coming from coming from TypeScript, I'm having experience Golang, and I'm experiencing the spread syntax in Rust. Like that's definitely something I like because I don't want to have to type every field of a particular struct when I can just spread some of the data. So yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, and also also in Rust, we don't have the $1 billion mistake, the null that you can have
Yeah,
in either like in TypeScript or
yeah,
also
yeah,
in Go in some ways. So
yeah, yeah.
mm
So
so yes,
yeah,
that's very cool.
options. Yeah,
Yeah,
options.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
sometimes when you think about it, you think about it, it's almost like the language was designed by some kind of philosopher because when you think about like instead of having null or undefined or unnamed pointers and all, you are presented with options. So you have an
Mm,
option, and either that option is like is something, all right? You have something,
mm,
or you have nothing. In like so,
yeah.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a nice pattern.
And when you build like a program, when you compare to TypeScript, for instance, and when you do it in Rust, do you feel like more confident when you ship this program since you have built in Rust? Or did you notice a difference maybe in the confidence that you have that the program does what it is expected?
Yes, yes. So I actually started like 2 weeks ago, but I've not been
Mm,
very consistent. Yeah, I've not been very
mm,
consistent. I may have been like far more into the program. But one thing that I have noticed, like whenever I have the time to approach those exercises, one thing that I usually do, I just look at what is required from the exercise. I
mm,
write it down. Although I don't really know the language, sometimes I don't want to like hold myself back. I don't want to gatekeep anything.
mm,
I just go for it. And when something is wrong, I just let the compiler tell me. So sometimes when you like cargo test or cargo, yeah, you just let
mm,
the
mm,
compiler tell me, and I will try to interpret it. And also, like if it's really difficult to interpret, I also have the help of AI, which is like it's
yeah.
really easy going. So for the
Mm,
most part, I would say the confidence is like top notch
mm,
because first thing is that the compiler will tell you, like most often he'll tell you, like it will tell you what is wrong and like and maybe like it will help you with suggestions on how to approach that. And the next thing is once your program compiles, it is good.
mm,
Like it just works.
yeah.
Unless you intentionally use like unsafe APIs, you wrap
Yeah,
without like
it's possible. Or
yeah,
if
you
you have
unwrap.
business logic flows, that's also possible. Mm, mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But at least in terms of memory safety, normally you are safe on this point. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But by the way, you were mentioning AI. So I'm assuming you were already using AI working with TypeScript. Did you find some differences between what is the workflow between using AI in TypeScript or in Rust? Since you were telling the Rust compiler is more strict, did you find some differences maybe, or maybe not yet
So
because you started not that long ago?
yeah, yeah. So far, I have disabled all sorts of suggestions. Like I
Hmm.
don't use it to generate. I don't use AI to generate because I'm learning. I want to get like
Okay, that's
hands-on.
very cool.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
cool.
So I want to get hands-on. So there's no like the generative aspect of it. Like it
Hmm.
is very useful. It has been so useful understanding the concepts. Now,
Hmm. Yeah,
comparing that with TypeScript, um, I wouldn't say that much because TypeScript. I started using TypeScript like mainly. It was mainly with the autocomplete. It started with the
yeah.
autocomplete before we got to generation. And what happens is that by the time we got to generating data and even the autocomplete, I was quite confident with TypeScript. So
Hmm.
I cannot really, I
Okay,
cannot
yeah.
really, yeah,
Yes, I see. But that's really great that you are using more to understand first and not to generate. And
yeah,
that's very good way of really understanding what you are doing. So that's really cool.
yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. And like about the bootcamp, how did you find the support or the feedback so far? Because you were that was very cool that you did some some feedback, or you also asked some questions on the Discord. That was so that's very cool because you are proactive. So how did you find this part?
Well, so far, I'll say I'm enjoying it. Although like it was mainly when you speak of feedback, I think it's primarily the test because
Yeah,
um,
yeah, also, yeah.
in TypeScript, in TypeScript, what happens is you know how TypeScript is so unsafe. And what
Mm,
happened is I had to learn a lot of like how to make my application as robust as possible. And
mm,
I fell into this like rabbit hole of testing, like testing and testing
mm,
and testing. And so I got like I have I'm in this habit of like trying to see how like trying to break the API. All right, if there are
mm,
tests for this API,
mm,
what guarantees that is actually like what guarantees that the test actually tests what it is intended like what is supposed to test. All right.
mm, mm,
So yeah, that's kind of it. So that's what helped me easily pick up maybe some tests that were not properly configured. And at the end of the day, this is a community that I would like to be part of in the
mm,
foreseeable future. And so it is important for me to highlight maybe certain things that will be quality of life improvements. Yeah, I mean, even like with the UX of like the website and all. Yeah, so I
mm.
just, yeah.
Cool, cool. And yeah, do you have a project maybe in mind that you would like to build in Rust? Did you think about that so far, or maybe not yet?
Yes, so initially I thought of like let's say a nice project to start, which has the I mean I thought the right amount of complexity
Mm,
for my web background would have
mm,
been a search engine. But having done a little bit of research,
mm,
there's a developer who was like, well, I mean, he explained, he did a talk on how like how things work, but at the end, he discouraged us from attempting to do that. And at the same time, I think that it's a little bit redundant because we have a lot of tools that are out there to help us do like facilitate like search. All right. So
mm,
there are services, there are frameworks, there's a lot of things. And so for the search engine was primarily because well, there are tons of applications where I intend like building full stack applications, but I want the search to be performant and
mm,
really, you know, giving you that experience. You don't have to stress
mm,
too much to get the data out of the database. Uh, um, like for that, I am definitely going to try. working with vector databases, or maybe Postgres with vector PG vector extension for a start. But for a project, a ROS project, I don't have like, given that I've moved that from my mind, I don't have a really, like, I don't have something to get started. I don't have a target project in mind. Although I keep exploring. I mean, not so long ago, you shared a link of like some terminal utilities that we can go, and I could get inspiration from there. And I also saw a member. I don't know if it's a member of the community, but uh, he has the same YouTube handle. He has the same Twitter handle. I mean, not kind of handle, but it's kind of recognizable. And I did go through his because I read a lot of code. I read a lot of code. I understand things. So yeah, I did go through. He did like some really cool things. Some kind of chat application via Bluetooth using Rust. Yeah, and I think I think that's really cool. I could start maybe tinkering with certain things, and then we'll see how it evolves from there.
Okay, cool. And what would you say to someone who is hesitating to join a bootcamp or coaching or something to learn Rust specifically? What would you say to this person?
Well, I would say learning by yourself. Like somebody like me, I like to think that I am a fast learner and also that I am resilient. But the truth is that most often when you do your learning by yourself, you don't have enough structure, and sometimes you can take you a lot of time to become very productive at whatever you want to learn, not just Rust. And so, but I think it's definitely the case with Rust. So it will be it. I would advise people to try get into the community so that somebody can guide you, so that you can get to where you want to be as soon as possible. Yeah, and then obviously, because again, the tooling is very vast. I would say it's a general purpose programming language. So there's so many things, there's so many possibilities of what you could do with it. But it's good to get a good foundation, and from there you can get to wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. With Rust, you can do like low level, high level. You can do either web or you can also work in the kernel or whatsoever. So yeah, you can.
Yeah,
It's a
desktop and
very
even mobile. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yes. Okay, cool. So yeah, thanks for your time, Eddy. It was very interesting to speak with you, and see you next time.